Welcome to the Power Bomb. I'm GP, and we got two big shows for this weekend. You got Night of Champions on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and then you have Forbidden Door, which, in my personal opinion, Forbidden Door has lost its luster. It is not the same when it first came out, I think back in 2021, when you had, like, New Japan first showing up with AEW. You know, you had the New Japan president come out, talk with Tony Khan. They were super excited about Forbidden Door. They gave us a great card. And then lately the Forbidden Doors have just been mediocre at best. And this card is really not any better. I'm not super excited about some 12-man steel cage match with all kinds of shit going on. You're most likely that whole thing is going to be... Wait a minute. Why am I telling you now? Let's get to the card, shall we? Forbidden Door, AEW New Japan. Let's IWGP title on the line. Umino defending his championship against Pac. Does that really sound exciting to anybody else? Umino, who nobody knows about, and I know the AEW haters are going to come at me on this one, and the New Japan ones are going to be like, how do you not know who Umino is? Who the fuck is he? That's for starters. And he's facing Pac, who hasn't done jack shit in AEW in quite a while, and I don't foresee him doing jack shit in New Japan. So why the hell would I think he's going to win this championship? It's going to be Umino. There's no way in hell Pac wins this unless he plans on sticking around in New Japan for a little while, defending that title like Moxley did when he won the IWGP Championship. But no one in their right mind thinks that Pac is going to win this title. So, yeah, give me Umino. Championship. But no one in their right mind thinks that Pac is going to win this title. So, yeah, give me Umino. The Young Bucks versus Unbound Company, I guess? Or Corporation versus El Sky Team. This is just a tag match. This is probably just going to be a spot fest. The AEW diehards are going to freaking love this because it's the Young Bucks Super Kick Party. This match just sounds like shit. I'm not excited for this at all. I don't care about this match. It's probably going to be the Young Bucks. Who cares? Moving on. Oh. Do I have some things to say about this? The AEW Continental Championship. Jon Moxley, the champion, versus Bandito. Who gives a shit about this one? Honestly, who cares about Jon Moxley doing anything anymore? This Death Riders story has been atrocious. And honestly, what has it done for AEW? Please tell me. What has Moxley's crew of Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, Marina Shafir, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli, what has it done for AEW? Jack shit. Nobody cares about the Death Riders. Nobody is turning on Dynamite to watch the Death Riders. If anything, when the Death Riders come out, people are turning off AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley really thinks he's bigger than he really is. He really thinks he's very important. And he's really not. These storylines have been bad. This Death Riders thing has gone on long enough. They're obviously not going to change this. This is total crap. Total crap. Oh my god, I'm wearing a Jey Uso shirt talking about Forbidden Door. Who gives a shit? Okay. But anyways, Jon Moxley, back to him. Jon Moxley, you are not the Roman Reigns of AEW. AEW doesn't have a Roman Reigns. They're never going to have a Roman Reigns. And you sure as hell are not the substitute. You think this Death Riders faction has done anybody any good. All you did was put a bag over Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, whatever the fuck you want to call him. You put a title in a briefcase for about a year, multiple title defenses that did nothing for anybody, and then the title finally came out of the briefcase when you lost it to Hangman Page at All In last year. And now look at Hangman Page. Did anybody get it over for that? Did anybody get any rub from that? Hangman Page is no longer able to go after that AEW championship because he lost to MJF. Has this Death Rider story done anybody any good? Anybody at all? Please, in the comments, leave below if you want to go at me on this one. But what has Jon Moxley done that has been worth a damn for AEW besides the 2019 to 2022 run? What has he done? The last time Jon Moxley had a decent storyline with anybody, I'm gonna go with CM Punk at All Out when all the shit went down. Give me one good example of what Moxley has accomplished. Please, anybody. But yeah, who cares? Jon Moxley defeats Bandito. Who gives a shit? Alright? Who gives a shit about this match? Honest. The AEW tag team titles are on the line. Cage and Cope versus the Dogs. Anybody smell that? Because this match smells like dog shit. This is terrible. What the hell is AEW doing? What kind of a card is this? I can just keep going through it. Fine. Cage and Cope retain their tag titles unless you want to give the rub to the Dogs. I don't care what you're going to do with David Finlay. I could care less. This is so bad. Oh my god. The AEW Women's Championship match. Tekla defending her title against Starlight Kid. Who the fuck is Starlight Kid? Tekla wins. Seriously? The Owen Hart Women's Final. Mercedes Moné versus Maya World. Gee, what sounds better at AEW All In? Mercedes Moné versus Tekla for the AEW Women's Championship, and we can finally put the damn championship on Mercedes Moné because it's been long enough. Or Starlight Kid. Really? Who gives a shit about this match? Mercedes wins hands down. I don't even know who the fuck she's facing. Okay, finally AEW has given us a crumb. We finally have a breadcrumb. We finally have something we can sink our teeth into. The AEW Owen Final, the men's side. Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. We finally have a match, but unfortunately, it's so predictable. Where's All In this year? It's in London. Where is Will Ospreay from? London. What are we not gonna do? Have Swerve Strickland win. So fucking predictable. Will Ospreay wins. Duh. And it's gonna be Will Ospreay versus MJF, which is going to be the second time they've faced in London at All In, because the last time was for that freaking International Continental Who Gives a Rat's Ass Championship, where Will Ospreay took it away from MJF. This card is not getting any better. Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. This is going to be a damn good match. It's going to be a damn good match. Zack Sabre Jr. wins this. I mean, why would Kenny win this? Why in the world would Kenny Omega win this match? He's towards the end of his wrestling career. Zack Sabre Jr. is on the upstart of his wrestling career. Another predictable win. It's going to Zack Sabre Jr. If they have Kenny Omega win, it's just stupid. Just stupid. You have to give New Japan at least some type of rub here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here it is, the 12-person steel cage match. Here it is. MJF and the Don Callis family versus the conglomeration with Darby Allin and Takeshita. Here's what's going to happen in this match. First off, there will be some point between Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher in this match where they're going to have their big tease, their big face-to-face, their big brawl that's going to probably lead to a huge match at All In because they're not going to blow their load here. And then you'll obviously have MJF and Mark Briscoe have a little bit of a face-off. And then you'll have Andrade have probably some tension with the Don Callis family, and something will happen. I don't know who's going to win this match. I don't care who's going to win this match, to be honest. It serves no purpose for me. It serves no purpose for any of the wrestling fans that are watching this, because you would think it's a pay-per-view, so the AEW Championship would be on the line, but no, we're going to have this giant steel cage fuck match. I guess MJF wins. He gets the pin somehow. He'll be a bloody mess. They'll all be a bloody mess. It doesn't really matter. There'll probably be some dissension in the Don Callis family, and he'll have to smooth the waters over afterwards. But honestly, AEW is giving us a crap show. I'm not excited for this at all. Like, I was kind of excited because, it's a wrestling show and it's something to watch on Sunday. But I'm not excited for this. I am not excited to fork over $40 to watch this, or $30 on Prime, or whatever the hell it is. I am not excited to do that. I am as excited to watch this card as I was to put $40 in my Jeep today. Not excited at all. And one, unfortunately, gets me from A to B. This one just gets me to want to drive off a cliff. This is bad. This is really bad. But that's your card. Those are my predictions. And let's get into Night of Champions. It just keeps going from bad to worse. Saturday, 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. or whenever the fuck it is. WWE presents, Lee Fitting and Paul Levesque Productions presents WWE Night of Champions. The United States Men's Championship. Trick Williams, your champion, versus Ricky Saints. This is going to be a good match to show the future of what WWE is going to look like down the road. Ricky Saints and Trick Williams. This could be one of those matches that we look back on being like, man, remember the first time these guys faced? Remember how good it was? Or it's going to be, oh man, remember when these guys faced 5 years ago and the match really sucked and now they're just trying to shove it down our throat for the future? This is a big moment for Ricky Saints, aka Ricky Starks. This is a big moment for him to go up against Trick Williams, who they obviously think is a main event guy down the road. So to have Ricky Saints test the waters against Trick Williams and see how he's going to he's either going to swim or he's going to sink. Obviously, Trick Williams wins this match. I think the end-all, be-all is going to be Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes at SummerSlam, either night 1 or night 2. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be a great match, and they have a good story to tell from their NXT days as tag team partners, and then eventually the breakup. But this is a huge match for Ricky Saints. This really is a big stage for Ricky Saints. I mean, what he did in AEW was peanuts compared to what's gonna happen in Saudi Arabia. So this is a big moment. I'm gonna have my eyes on Ricky Saints to see how he handles this moment. But obviously, Trick Williams wins this match. He retains the championship. The end-all goal is going to be SummerSlam versus Carmelo Hayes. So yeah, Trick Williams wins this. Folks, we have a rematch from SummerSlam Night 1. Tiffany Stratton defends the championship. Her United States Championship, mind you. She's no longer a WWE champion. No. She had that run. She was boring, and they moved off and put the title on the right person, which is Rhea Ripley. So very good for WWE realizing that Tiffany Stratton is not what you thought she was going to be. And another one that really is not what you thought she was going to be is Jade Cargill. She's just been bad from start to finish. She has been bad from start to finish. She did not hold that WWE championship well. She did not. This faction is honestly a lead weight that's just holding her down completely. She's barely good as it is, so they gave her a faction of two of the most useless people in WWE, in Mishin and B-Fab. And the only way to make this anywhat interesting whatsoever is if B-Fab and Mishin unfortunately make an appearance in Saudi and cost Tiffany Stratton that United States Championship and put it on Jade Cargill. So then at least you make the faction look somewhat credible, that they did something positive for their leader and that they were able to do something. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tiffany Stratton wins. But my wild card is I think Jade Cargill becomes your new United States champion because I feel like there's more of a story there. If Tiffany Stratton just retains, where we really go with that. But if Jade wins, then this match is somewhat decent. You can possibly run it back at SummerSlam in a rematch. So I'll go with Jade Cargill. It makes the most sense. Oh boy. Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker in a steel cage match. The nice thing about this is usually a steel cage means the end of this rivalry. Because the Vision, the Bron Breakker, this has been bad. This is mid-card level bad. And unfortunately, you have a big name in Seth Rollins who's running this. And this has just been bad from start to finish. This has been so bad that I'm not even going to call him Seth Rollins for this rivalry. He is Kobe. Or Tyler Black. Actually, Tyler Black is a cooler name. I wish he had that in WWE, but instead he went with Seth Rollins. But this has been just bad. This has not helped Bron Breakker at all. This has not helped Seth Rollins at all. This has not helped anything at all. And I'm glad it's a steel cage match because that means closure on this pile of shit. Closure is what we're looking for. Give me Bron Breakker, because why would you have Seth Rollins win? Why would you have Bron Breakker lose a huge match in a PLE in front of thousands of people? The future of WWE, as you say. Why would you have him lose to Seth Rollins, who's injury-riddled? It would make no sense. Bron Breakker has to win. If Seth Rollins has his hand raised at the end of this match, I'll be freaking shocked. I will be blown away if Seth Rollins retains this. Doesn't retain, sorry. If he wins this steel cage match. I'll be shocked. Absolutely shocked. Bron Breakker wins this. Queen of the Ring, Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. This has just been a story that's just been brewing with the Judgment Day. It's been brewing the way they're treating, with the way Liv Morgan's treating Roxanne Perez, the way she's treating Raquel Rodriguez, telling her, oh, you know what? Backup plan. You know what? This is great. I know, Raquel. I know you're going to get that Women's Intercontinental Championship. Raquel don't want that shit. Raquel wants the gold, Liv, and probably the gold you're wearing because you've been so absolutely disparaging to your own team, and you've been showing them absolutely zero respect, that Raquel probably doesn't even care about Rhea Ripley anymore. She wants your championship, Liv Morgan. You have made a mess of this whole thing with Raquel and Roxanne Perez, and they're probably costing you at Queen of the Ring, and it's going to set up for something at SummerSlam. It just makes the most sense. The breadcrumbs have been fed to us. The way she's been treating Roxanne, the way she's been treating Raquel, hell, the way she's treating JD. Poor JD gets electrocuted by Danhausen, and all they care about is themselves. And the only one that cares about friggin' JD McDonough is Adam friggin' Pearce, telling Dominic like he needs medical help. He needs medical help. And then they set up a match for freaking JD and I think it's Oba next week on Raw because Dominic volunteered him. The way they've been treating JD, Roxanne, and Raquel have been absolutely atrocious. So if you're going to sit there and tell me that Liv Morgan is going to walk into Night of Champions, defeat Io Sky, and go to face Rhea Ripley, I don't see that. It makes zero sense. It makes the most sense for the Judgment Day to cost Liv Morgan. Io Sky wins, and then you have a debate. Does she want to go after Liv Morgan and get the World Heavyweight Championship, or do we want Part 3, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley? And I'll tell you, that could be a night one main event right there. Rhea Ripley deserves it. Io Sky deserves it. I would, in the story they could tell, friendship, all that. Maybe you turn Io heel. Maybe it's time for an Io heel turn. But that has a main event SummerSlam match written all over. Sure as hell night 2, but definitely night 1. Definitely night 1. So yeah, Io Sky wins. Jey Uso versus Oba Femi. Now the lazy answer is Oba Femi loses because of Brock Lesnar. That's the easy way of doing this. And obviously, SummerSlam is in Minneapolis. It is a two-night event. So you could have Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar's retirement match, a main event match. And obviously Oba Femi retires Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar, says goodbye to the crowd, does the whole thing, leaves his boots in the ring, this time for real. And because Oba Femi said that to Jey Uso, you're not the family member I'm concerned with, he obviously wants Roman Reigns. And if he defeats Jey Uso, he's going after the tribal chief. Now, here's where things could get interesting. Jacob Fatu is extremely loyal to Roman Reigns. Jey Uso could win this match because Jacob Fatu costs him. And it could set up an Oba Femi versus Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam. But most likely it's going to be Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, so most likely we're going to get the Brock Lesnar pop at the PLE. He's going to take out Oba. Jey Uso wins. Jey Uso goes on to SummerSlam to face Cody Rhodes. That's right, Cody Rhodes. Because that brings us to the main event, most likely. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther versus Sami Zayn. And let's not beat around the bush. Let's not pretend Sami Zayn has done an amazing job at being the third wheel in this story between Cody Rhodes and Gunther. All right, let's not pretend this at all. The fact of the matter is this. They knew Night of Champions was going to be overseas. They knew it was going to be in Saudi Arabia. They knew it's the only place friggin' Sami Zayn gets a cricket of a reaction. Because Lord knows in the States, he absolutely sucks. Sami Zayn is terrible. And I don't want to watch him anymore. But unfortunately, I'm forced to watch him. Sami Zayn is only in this match because it's in Saudi Arabia. Sami Zayn is not winning the championship. Okay, let's just make that perfectly clear right now. There's no way in hell Sami Zayn wins this unless Kevin Owens is ready to return and he helps out Sami. That would be interesting. That's not happening. So here's the deal. Cody Rhodes is going to win this match. Gunther's going to lose this in a way that he's just going to be completely just beyond himself. And then he's going to go after Nick Aldis. And then Nick Aldis is going to be like, you know what? I can't take this shit no more. Gunther, you have been absolutely terrible to deal with. Your attitude has been terrible. We've given you multiple championship matches. I can't take this anymore. You know what? I don't need to be SmackDown GM anymore. Or I can waive my SmackDown GM status for one night only. And that one night only will be at SummerSlam. Nick Aldis versus Gunther. That's my wild card pick for SummerSlam. Make it happen. Cody wins this. And after he wins this, there's probably going to be a moment where Jey Uso comes out and there's a stare down. And then you start then you start teasing that one. Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. Because we are not getting Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn for that championship. However, I'll save that for SummerSlam. Have a good night. Oh, enjoy the shows. Leave comments. I want your feedback. I want this thing to grow. Let's make it happen together.